You need to listen to this story. The goose that laid golden eggs. Once upon a time, in a village, there lived a poor farmer with his wife. They had nothing but a little farm where they grew vegetables that they could eat. However, he managed to save a little money each time he sold vegetables from his farm. Eventually, he saved up enough money to buy a goose. He took it home and made a nest for it to lay eggs. The goose will produce eggs which he could use for selling, eating, and making bread, thought the farmer. The next morning, when he went to gather some eggs for his breakfast, he lifted the goose, and to his surprise, the goose had laid a golden egg. The next morning, he found another egg, and the next, and the next. Slowly and steadily, the farmer and his wife were becoming richer and richer. Just think, if we could have all the golden eggs that are inside the goose, we could be richer much faster.
You're right. We wouldn't have to wait for the goose to lay her egg every day.
So the couple killed the goose and cut her open. Only to find that she was just like every other goose. She had no golden eggs inside of her at all, and they had no more golden eggs. Alas, now the farmer and his wife had lost the goose, and they would never get any golden eggs again.
So we all know there's no such thing as a golden goose, a goose that can lay a golden egg. But what if I told you I could pay you? If I told you I could pay you $1 million this week, all you gotta do is come up with special effects, and you gotta put it on TV and make the people think that you've done something that you didn't do. Would you do it? Not only $1 million today, but $1 million tomorrow and the next day. Millions of dollars every week you can have, millions of dollars. So you can hire all the best people in the world to work for you, all the best special effects people to work for you. You just have to make videos and put it on the news. Because we already got the people at the news channel in our pocket. We're paying them the high bucks too. So all you gotta do is just make the videos that we tell you to make, and you gotta make the people believe what we want you to make the people believe, and you'll have millions of dollars for the rest of your life. Not just 1 week, but every week, millions of dollars coming in, all the time. Would you accept that offer? I know there's plenty of people that would. They'd sell their mother out for $1 million, let alone trillions of dollars over time. So, this is how it works. NASA has a golden goose. A goose that lays a golden egg, and all they have to do is put out CGI images, and the people are too busy going to work, coming home, having dinner, going to bed, waking up, getting the kids ready for school, doing it all over again, every day, too busy to think about looking at what the government is doing to them, their own government. What NASA's doing. They're lying and deceiving the masses. That's the story of the golden goose egg. NASA's golden goose egg. NASA was founded in 1958, I believe, and they've been raking in trillions of dollars from the United States citizens in all that time. And now they're saying we can't go back to the moon, but now we're going to go to Mars and Venus, and we're going to do all these other things. So we need trillions of dollars, well, at least millions right now, but it'll turn into trillions eventually. So thank you, American people, for giving us your money. We're going to sit here and laugh at you because you're so stupid to believe that we went to the moon. You don't even look into it. Thanks for the money, and we'll just keep deceiving you until you wake up, which will be never. So thank God Jesus is coming back to put an end to these idiots, because otherwise it would never end. So if you had a goose that could lay a golden egg every day, would you be stupid enough to kill it, or would you hide it? Because if you told anyone that you had it, the first thing that would happen is they would covet it, and other people would find out about it, and before you knew it, someone would have stolen it from you. So the best thing to do would be to hide it and not let anybody know you have it. But then the problem would be, where's this guy getting all the money? All of a sudden he's getting like a golden goose egg is worth, like, depending on the price of gold and the ounces the egg weighs, maybe $5,000 a day from the goose egg. And you have all this gold building up, and you have to go cash it in, and you start buying things, and you buy a house and you buy a car, and all of a sudden people are like, where's he getting this money? So you have to let somebody in on it. You have to let your best friends in on it, but they have to swear to keep it a secret. Just gotta keep this a secret. secret, okay? Don't tell anybody, but I got this goose that can lay a golden egg every day. And you start talking with your friends. You have like a secret meetings, and you say, okay, what's what we can do? We can start up a business, and that could be the cover for where we're getting all the money. And we'll just hire employees at minimum wage, and they'll think they're doing something useful, and they'll really be just doing anything, but we'll just pay a minimum wage, and we'll have this business, and we'll make rocket ships. We'll make rockets that can fly, and just. We'll tell them they can go to the moon. We'll tell them we can get to the moon with these rockets, and what we can do is we'll just hire all these people to, and every segment of the employees will be compartmentalized, so none of them will really know what's going on. So we'll have one team that's working on making the rocket engines, and we'll have one team that works on making the actual structure of the rocket. And then we'll have another team that calculates the distance from the Earth to the moon of how the trajectory would have to be based on the curvature of the Earth and the moving of the Earth. The Earth's going 1,000 miles an hour, so over 1,000 miles an hour. They'll know how much it is. And then they'll have to calculate it, and they'll do that part, and everyone's going to be compartmentalized, so none of them will know what they're doing. They'll think they're all working on the same project, but they're all compartmentalized to where they're just building their segment of the machine. And one of them will be the re-entry model, so when it gets up in the air, it'll drop the astronauts back down to the Earth into the water with the parachute. All these different parts that need to be built, and all be compartmentalized and segmented, and that way we can make millions and millions of dollars every day. We can make millions of dollars every day. That's our golden goose egg. We can just convince the people. Hollywood, their movie budgets are millions of dollars, and they have special effects that make people think, wow, this really looks real. We'll have billions of dollars, and we can hire Hollywood special effects units from Hollywood, and we could pay them millions of dollars to keep quiet. They'll never say anything about it. We got all these people in on it that are up at the top that know, the small group that we have here will make all the billions of dollars, and the rest, they'll just be making the minimum wage or whatever wage we pay them. It's going to be nothing. And this golden goose egg will last us for years and years and decades, and we'll just keep telling them we can tell them we're going to go to Mars, and we're going to go to Venus. We could tell them after we go to the moon, we could just tell them we're just going to keep exploring space. And this golden goose egg will last us forever and ever, to generations to come. Our kids will take it over. It'll be awesome. It'd be so awesome up until Judgment Day, when all the wealth of the wicked goes to the righteous. So thank you, NASA, because you and all the other wicked elite Masons and all those in the occult societies are storing up the wealth of the world, because you are the wicked who are storing up the wealth of the world for the righteous. The wicked store their wealth for the righteous. It's all coming to me. It's coming to my friends. It's coming to my family. It's coming to God's people. So just keep doing it, because soon you'll be dead, and unfortunately in hell, because it's not likely that you're ever going to repent and receive Christ, because you know who he is, and you know who Lucifer is, and he is your enemy. Christ is your enemy, and Lucifer is your God, and you love him, and he gives you the money, and he gives you a good life in this world. Your society is the club. Your society is, in the analogy, the close-knit friends that had to keep the secret of the egg. That's who you are, and it's just sad. I wish people would believe the truth. I'm putting it out there for anyone who will look into it. Watch Astronauts Gone Wild. If you believe they went to the moon after you watch that, then more power to you. There's plenty of evidence of the shadows of the astronauts allegedly when they were on the moon, and the video footage where the shadows go all kind of crazy ways, which it would be impossible if the shadows would come from the sun, because they're coming from Hollywood studio lights. A Hollywood director, I can't think of his name right now, maybe I'll put it in here, but the one that made 2001 Space Odyssey, he's the one who made the footage for NASA of the moon landing. You need to look into these things. Don't take my word for it, just research it. You have to wade through all the shills, you have to wade through all the BS that's going to come up on Google and YouTube when you first look, because they're in on it too. They're hiding it. The big corporations, Google owns YouTube, they suppress this information, but you need to look into it. If you want to know the truth, it would help us who have to bear the burden of knowing about all these deception and keeping it and bearing this burden ourselves. This is a burden. It's a burden for people like us, and we need your help, and we'd appreciate your help. The help that you can give is just acknowledging the truth and saying, you know what, they're doing this. We'd like to not put up with it anymore. I mean, there can come times in history when righteousness prevails, when justice prevails, even though throughout history, most of the time, justice does not prevail, and it's injustice everywhere, and there's deception everywhere. But there are times when justice and truth come to the surface. Maybe this is one of those times. Maybe people will wake up and realize we need to stop being cogs in the machine. We need to stop working for the elite, and we need to have the liberty that this nation was founded on. So thank you so much, and God bless everybody.
With the Earth in low orbit. The circumference of the window then appears to be the diameter of the Earth at a distance, with the darkened walls of the spacecraft appearing to be the blackness of space around it. That is why they wanted the interior dark and blocked out the sun from entering through the other windows. Here you can see the extruded window, probably 2 inches thick at the bottom. This is because the Earth's shine is coming in at a downward angle. It also causes the Earth to appear to be an irregularly shaped circle, for you are seeing the outside of the window at the bottom and the inside of the window at the top, which together form 2 different sized halves of a circle. Subsequently, this take was never used. As they perfected the shot, a crescent-shaped piece of black material was inset slightly into the window to create the illusion of the Earth's terminator line dividing night and day. It is uncannily convincing. During this segment, intended to be edited and played back later for the worldwide television audience, dated July 18, 1969, Neil Armstrong condemns himself as he states that he is 130,000 miles out, or halfway to the moon, as the NASA flight log also states on this date, when he is in reality in low Earth orbit of a few hundred miles.
Roger, Houston, Apollo 11. Calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Here, during another segment, also intended to air after review, Neil Armstrong falsely explains to the viewers how the shot is attained by putting the camera's lens to the window's glass, as it would have to be if they were the claimed distance away from the Earth.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with a TV camera.
If the window was completely filled up with a TV camera, as he stated, then an astronaut's arm would not be able to get between the camera and the window, as it obviously does here in this outtake.
South America becomes invisible just off beyond the Terminator or inside the shadow.
You can also notice how the astronaut operating the camera reacted to the mistake by attempting to pan away from it.
Blue cast. See white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth. And you can see
This is a segment that they believed wasn't even being recorded, much less suitable for broadcast, for the lens was being zoomed out and the scene was being changed to that of an interior of the astronauts at work, and apparently the stop button popped back up on the recorder without notice. Here is the diffused work light that they used to see camera controls, but not throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Here they remove part of the crescent insert. Finally, the iris is opened up and you can see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window. Here is the slate for the 19th of July, and the same shot of trickery on the 19th of July, and then the 20th, and the same misleading shot on the 20th. Later that evening, they were said to be walking on the moon. How can this be when they were in Earth orbit only 9 hours earlier, and the moon is some 3 days' journey away? Furthermore, if they genuinely went to the moon, why would they be faking any part of it? Why this trickery with the window? By faking being halfway to the moon, it becomes apparent that they did so because they could not even go halfway. It thus confirms that the stumbling block to their success was the lethal radiation of the Van Allen radiation belts. Since the same equipment was used on the subsequent missions in the 40 months that followed, none of them could have gone to the moon. They only increased their proficiency at staging them. When some TV viewers of the second manned mission to the moon telephoned the networks complaining that reruns of I Love Lucy were being interrupted, it became clear that for the taxpayers, once was enough. But it wasn't enough for the government and contractors. Billions of dollars of pure profit went with each return. How coincidental that the following mission would have the element of life and death jeopardy. Apollo 13. Now the public would take going to the moon more seriously and be reconnected with the drama. We now realize that perhaps the reason Neil Armstrong has never given an on-camera interview is because he doesn't want to lie anymore. What threats may have been made upon such honorable men or their families to possess their reluctant cooperation and later ill feelings towards perpetuating this still darkened hour in American history? NASA's highest-ranking official, James Webb, resigned without explanation just days before the first Apollo mission. Why, when he was on the threshold of achieving the greatest accomplishment of his career? All 3 Apollo 11 astronauts also resigned shortly after their return. On the 25th anniversary of the event in 1994, Neil Armstrong made a rare public appearance and held back tears as he spoke these brief cryptic remarks before the next generation of taxpayers as they toured the White House.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
He is that layer. Perhaps someday soon, with the uncovering of this footage and its meaning, the true patriots of America will rise up or come forward and free the citizens and themselves from the sin that so easily entangles and from a federal government that needs to have the gangrene cut off. Even if the government's destruction would come from the truth, then it is not worthy to stand, and its betterment would inevitably follow. All of us are mortal. All of us will die. Perhaps the seeking of a clear conscience before that hour will motivate the truth into the light. Perhaps as citizens we should offer amnesty for this and other crimes of history, for facts from those involved, before the truth perishes with them. Why must we wait until the year 2017 to open the Kennedy assassination files? Perhaps they will not even be opened then, for the law that reluctantly stipulates their release says so with this clause, quote, with the exception of documents certified for continued postponement by the President. Whoever believes the citizens to be too immature for the truth are too immature for power. The truth will always set us free.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. But I think I know. 'Cause we didn't. 'Cause we didn't. 'Cause we didn't.
You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. Okay, we had a problem here. Just a second, please. Oh, here's we had a problem.
Well, a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. That's the title of a video that I watched on YouTube. You can see astronauts hanging from wires, proving that astronauts are natural liars. They analyze photos and highlight mistakes with the moon landing missions. They show it was faked. You can see them faking the photos of Earth. They use a round window to fake the curve. That's suspicious, don't you think? Yeah, listen up. I watched another documentary called Astronauts Gone Wild. Astronaut Buzz Aldrin gets a little riled. All he was asked to do was to swear to God that he went to the moon, but he would not. He was faced with a moon landing denier. Had a chance to show that he ain't no liar, but Buzz decided to punch that dude just for asking him to swear if he went to the moon. That's suspicious. So, do you still believe we went to the moon? Do you still believe what they're telling you? Just connect the dots and pretty soon you'll find out what I found out too. But if you question this stuff, you'll be labeled a loon. You'll be called a conspiracy theory buffoon, but I don't care, man. I'm still gonna make this too, cause I know that we didn't go to the moon.
Why don't you swear in the Bible that you walked on the moon? You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't.
And how about those moon rocks they gave to museums? And thousands of people did see them. But one museum took a closer look. They soon realized that something's afoot. The rock they were given turned out to be a fake. Just a piece of old wood, not a rock from space. Yeah, when God made the moon, he saw it was good, but apparently made it from petrified wood. Yeah, that's suspicious. Listen up. In another museum sits an astronaut suit. Take a good look at the tread on the boot. It doesn't match up with the prints on the moon. And y'all still believe what they're telling you? Or how about that phone call that Nixon made to the moon that's 250,000 miles away? When I can't get a signal on my cell phone line, I guess phones were better in '69. Well, do you still believe we went to the moon? Do you still believe what they're telling you? Just connect the dots and pretty soon you'll find out what I found out too. But if you question this stuff, you'll be labeled a loon. You'll be called a conspiracy theory buffoon, but I don't care, man. I'm still gonna make this too, cause I know that we didn't go to the moon.
And it certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made to the White House.
Yeah, you went straight through those Van Allen belts. It wasn't a problem, right? Nothing was felt. But now you say it's a problem and you can't get through. This problem needs to be solved, according to you. But didn't you solve that problem back in '69 and you flew straight through them 5 more times? You wonder why I think it's fake when there are so many Apollo mistakes, like the telemetry data that's all gone missing. 13,000 reels, are you kidding? A giant leap for all mankind, but you lost the data and no one can find. Come on, man, are you kidding? Do you still believe we went to the moon? Do you still believe what they're telling you? Just connect the dots and pretty soon you'll find out what I found out too. But if you question this stuff, you'll be labeled a loon. You'll be called a conspiracy theory buffoon, but I don't care, man. I'm still gonna make this too, cause I know that you can't go. No, there's no blast crater from the lunar module. Probably because that thing is just a model. Or the flag that flutters with no atmosphere. Don't you think that's a bit queer? Intersecting shadows means another light source. Do I think it's fake? Yeah, of course. The whole thing was filmed on a Hollywood set. Directed by Kubrick is my best bet. The moon's so cool, we'd love to explore it, but we can't get past low Earth orbit. Do your research, people, I think you'll find that NASA admits that a bunch of times. Listen.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back.